guys? Holy crap. What's going on? It's Marcus. Back at it again with a video. So, a few things. One, I've been busy with school and work and like 900 other things. So, forgive me for not posting content. It's been a hot minute. But I got a case opening, or at least a box from the case opening coming. That I should be having this week for Power Absorbed. We got this Banlist discussion video, which I'm super hyped. And then I have a cooler deck profile that I wanted to bring you guys, both coolers, green and cooler mill. So I just need to talk about this Banlist, which is straight fire. This Banlist is something that I am so happy about because I think it addressed the strongest represented color blue. And I think that it gave the game much needed bans to two cards that I just think were completely skillless pieces of garbage that need to be removed from the game. So, and a very good limit and a very good unlimit. So let's talk about the unlimit first. Secret Identity Mass Sands coming back. Thank God. I love that card. Free Overwhelm warps a whole bunch of cards. I'm trying up to 6. It's just a wild card. So glad that I have mine, like my foiled playset and pre-release stamp. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for that one. I'm really looking forward to slotting that slotting that basically in like every deck that I can. Playing that Supreme Kai is going to be super awesome. Like Secret ID, getting a tool for that, like that deck is going to be super cool. Let's go with limits. Majibu, Assault of the Agents of Destruction. This card need to be limited one. Should probably be banned, but it being limited one is really good. Best decks to play it now, probably Gamma. Like Gamma's gonna probably be the best. With Crimson gone, we've just lost that boogeyman of the format. Screw that deck. I think that deck was stupid. Yeah, I think that deck was stupid. Like, I'm so glad it's gone. There still might be like a Soul Striker kind of like approach to blue, but I think that there's another deck that's like pretty good that's been getting slept on. So yeah, yep. So Crimson banned by it needed to be gone, and with the hit the God ceiling and now Boo, like I think blues get checked really hard here. And then moving on to Kai and Champa. Both those cards taking a hike. Thank God. It's about time that we put a ban to those cards. They are skillless. I have been saying this for years. It is a skillless win button to be at 2 life and then to have your opponent not negate on a swing and then just dump 3 3 super combos into whatever else it is plus like Champa. And I'm so glad that it is removed from the game. Now you can focus on threats that are on the board, right? This is what I was talking about when I say skill, right? Like, it's not skill if you have a hidden card in your hand that like your opponent cannot conceivably ever play around. And I'll give you an example of like the difference between like a Champa and like the Piccolo Gohan SCR, right? Because they're both generally one-ofs in a deck, but there's a very big difference, right? So when you are playing against a yellow deck, Piccolo Gohan SCR is like pretty much the premier yellow SCR, right? So it's like guaranteed to be in the deck. The thing is though, is that like you can basically see where it's coming down some of the time, and there's like a little bit of ways to still play around it, right? You can still counterplay the card. You can, you know, not have a whole bunch of cards rested. You can, I mean, there's just lots of things that you can do to kind of like play around that SCR. If they swing with like a token, like a Freeze Army token, right? Like, generally that SCR is coming down on top of it because they're not going to invest a whole lot. They might invest like a card or two and it not be that card, but like it's like one of those things that you have to think about, right? It's kind of like an indicator, or it, you know, or you're going for a swing, right? And you want to math out your hand, and you have to think, well, I'm playing against yellow, right? So like that card may come into effect in the combo play, so I don't combo as much, so I can start whittling their hand down in other ways. So like there's lots of ways for you to play around the Gohan SCR. There's literally no way to play against around Champa, like at all, or Iskai at all. Like they're just cancers on the game that needed to like absolutely go. For example, if you and like I'll just like spit the scenarios that like are bad, right? Whereas the Gohan SCR, it's not the same. The Gohan SCR is also partially what makes it like so terrible, but like Champa just being a threat is like, so one, if they have an energy open, Champa's available. So like that's a thing, right? Like the number of energy they have matters. So if they have 5 or 6 energy, like that's problematic. The second thing is like, you know, it's about getting down in like certain kill ranges, right? So there's certain kill thresholds, certain kill thresholds like for every deck that like you like don't want to get to. Great example is if you play Green Cooler and you're at 3 life, the odds that the Frieza Unison's gonna come down, wipe your board, and then swing triple strike twice is pretty high, right? So it's like the kill threshold you don't want to be at. And if you're at 3 life and they have an opportunity to take a double strike, you want to, because basically their most powerful card is going to be swinging at you lethal for 3 anyway. You might as well have those 2 extra resources, right? But here's the problem with like Champa, right? Champa is stupid for a myriad of reasons. The first is that like at 5-3, which is like a very common strategy, so that like your opponent cannot use super combos to defend against the Champa play itself. It just effectively like executes 2 life out, depending on like the combo step or the type of swing that it's on. And this is just extremely problematic at all points in the game. It's like not fair, it's stupid, it's dumb, it shouldn't happen. Because like number one, like being at 3 life in this game is just like half a death sentence. One, it like if you even negate with like a blocker negate or sparking negate, you are literally putting yourself at 2 life, which again is Champa range, and there are decks that have play multiple Champas, right? And to make it worse, you know, you're now at 2 life, right? And double strike is a commonly printed keyword skill on a lot of cards. So it's not inconceivable that from striking somebody from 5-3, dealing 1 more damage is putting them in lethal range from like multiple cards within the deck, not just Champa. But Champa facilitating that at 5-3 is just definitely a problem. The second problem is like you don't know whether you should negate that attack, right? So like you could be swinging with like a perfectly benign 15k, and due to the fact that you play like a yellow deck, you could play like Gohan SCR and Champa at the same time, and again just flatten your opponent like right there, right? So it's just stupid, right? It's like one of those things where like you don't know that, you know, you're at 2 life, right? And, you know, you just don't want, you don't think that this attack is worth it. And then yellow just combos for free 30k combo power plus 1 on Champa. And you're literally looking at 15k to a 55k on 2 cards. And like, that is just double strike. And that's just stupid. Like, it shouldn't exist. And I have to pick on yellow because it's like the easiest one to do this with, aside from like Crimson, or, you know, like, yeah, like, or like Gohan Beast with like a bajillion other like cards to like facilitate home make it broken, but it's just stupid. And then there's the most obvious, right? Oolong or Mirror Creator Absorbed and Champa. Like, it just, again, a combination of cards that shouldn't exist. I topped Origins with Yellow Brawly like a couple years ago with a Victory Strike version that sided out into a Mira restand double strike over and over again version of the deck. And it's stupid. It's, again, just something that should not exist, because you have a card that solo puts itself over 100,000 power and just slap a double strike on it and your opponent's dead. And if they can combo out of it, then they just play like Oolong, right? or whatever, and it just steamrolls you, right? And giving a card critical versus giving a card double strike is just not the same thing because of the amount of card value out of life removed. And you also can see that they're very careful about what they put critical on when it comes to like a leader or something of the like. So or on a card that could give a card critical. Like even the Frieza, like there's a Frieza card. It's a 1 cost energy, just like Champa, but it's half the combo power and it gives a card critical. So it's not removing 2 life, it's removing 1. Yes, it's critical, but it's easier to combo out of and it still costs you the same amount of energy. Not nearly as good. Champa's 10k, can hit for more damage and cost the same amount of energy. And it's hard to combo out of. So like, I'm just so glad these 2 cards are banned. I think it's just absolutely stupid that they've existed this long. Those 2 cards have defeated more opponents than any other card in the game, and it doesn't matter, right? Like, it just doesn't matter, man. Like, the number of people who played this game and lost to Champa or Supreme Kai Double Strike are like, it just like that card solo has dwarfed like every other card individually in number of wins. I can guarantee that is the case. Like the amount of decks that just play it as a random one-off for that one reason is just like enough to push it over the edge. Like it was a bannable card literally like 10 sets ago. Like it's been that stupid for that long. Like that card, both of those cards just shouldn't have existed. And they shouldn't have existed in the format that they could. And especially with Mirror Create Absorb. The fact that Mirror Create Absorb is not on the ban list is an atrocity. Let me talk about things that I wanted to see on the ban list. Rise of the Super Warrior needed to be put on the ban list. But Beerus gets a lot worse with Boo at 1. So we'll see. Same thing with Dende Wish. Although Dende Wish is a little bit different. So we'll see. They removed Crimson, which is the main problem, and I'm glad to see that it's gone. So, and then moving on to, that Mira, I think needed to just straight up be banned. Trunks Jita, I think needs to be, I'm really shocked, and I mean really shocked that it won Worlds and they did not ban it. Like, Cell Surge didn't even win Worlds and they banned it because of how annoying it is to play against. And make no mistake, there were no touches to that deck at all, which is not a good sign, right? Like, that deck it needs to be addressed. Like, the Trunks, for example, evolution card should have been limited to 1. And I think that, like, limiting the, limiting, like, the freaking, I don't even know really what you do. I think if they ban Mira and then errata Oolong, and, like, limit the blocker guy to 1. And I think that would have been enough to, like, address Trunks Jita. And I errata Oolong to only copy yellow cards so that, like, there's not another dumb card like a free Overrealm that, like, for 30k that it can just copy. So, yeah. But really surprised that they didn't either just ban the Trunks Cheetah Leader and they didn't touch anything out of the deck whatsoever. I'm, like, shocked. I think that's just insane and ridiculous, and we'll see. We'll see, I guess. I mean, nothing really, I feel like anything else that, like, was really represented at Worlds other than Crimson that just needed to be banned. I'm really glad to see that they didn't touch anything in red. I think red has been primarily phased out due to blue, and I think that Gamma is, like, looking kind of good. Especially since Gamma can, like, abuse the, Majibu, like, assault card, like, way better than other decks can. It's fine as a one-off. You don't, like, need it, and you have your other units in a supplement, so it's pretty good. Generic blue stuff is going to have to find a new home. In fact, turning tide's not banned is also a crime. I really do not understand why we have not banned that card yet. Like, I mean, like, Bandai, like, talks about, like, repetitive and oppressive or bad game, like, just, same line play patterns and repetitive game states. They talk about that nonsense all the time, and it's like ramp into Kaioken into turning the tide is just it just even ramp into turning the tide, bar the Kaioken is just dumb. Like, it shouldn't be a thing. It just shouldn't be a thing, man. Like, if Super Warrior was banned, maybe it's more fair, but I mean, heck, even Oliver, right? Like, his Gamma list played a Turning the Tide. Like, come on, man. Like, we have got to do something about these cards. Like, they've got to go, man. And we're just not, man. We just don't hit these stupidly oppressive blue cards that just do way too much. Like, Turning the Tide just shouldn't exist as a card. Shouldn't. Something that, I mean, Turning the Tide is literally like cancer. It's like so bad. It's like so bad for the game. Yeah, and then moving on to green, nothing needed to be touching green. And if you believe that's the case, then you're a hater. Red, I can talk about this a little bit because SS4 wasn't touched. Good. I love that deck. But I think they want, like, a good king of Zenkai, and I think that, like, that's what SS4 is. Because right now, basically every other, like, Zenkai deck, especially from set 1, SS4 got its hit alongside, like, Sin. The hit to Sin was way harder than it was SS4. But the thing is that I think people have learned how to play around SS4, especially around the 8-drop. And so, like, I don't think that it's necessarily is seen as a serious deck, even though it's a serious deck. Like, I just don't, I just don't see. I mean, I'm shocked that it didn't take anything at Worlds. Like, there were no SS4 players at Worlds. Like, literally, I guess they just mapped out that, like, the Crimson matchup was that bad. Like, that you can't do anything. It's like, okay, well, I mean, fine. If that's the thing. Hey, man. I won't stop you. I don't even know what makes it that terrible, but I guess, the pros figured it out. So, yeah, and then I don't think there's anything, like, about red that's, like, particularly oppressive or snap that, like, needs to be addressed. Besides Champa and Kai, the Kai card. Black, yeah, nothing really in black other than Mirror Create Absorbed. And I said that earlier. Blue, I've talked literally about every card. And then yellow in general, I don't know, man. There's a few cards in yellow that I actually kind of want to see gone. Like, Release from Evil is kind of a card that I kind of want to see banned. Even though it's, like, a really high skill, like, it's, like, a really powerful card. I just feel that yellow has, like, way too many, like, grimy tools to just do whatever they want with. The fact that Release from Evil also turns off leaders is, like, kind of problematic. Because it just literally, it's like a literal, like, Release from Evil's presence in yellow is literally like a turn warping card, right? Like, there are certain, like, if you're playing Gamma, for example, and you awaken and they have a unison or one energy untapped and no unison, you literally can never attack with your leader. Like, the fact that and because, like, it's just, if they Release from Evil the leader, like, it's bad news bears. And the fact that is, like, even remotely possible, like, that a card exists that makes it so that the opposing leader cannot attack, is dumb. Now, it doesn't stop pending autos, but it's still a problem. Yeah, so, I don't know. And then I talked about all the Trunks Cheetah stuff. I don't think there's like really anything else that's like super oppressive that like needs to go in yellow. You like maybe argue like a couple more counterplays like need to be removed, but I just don't really get why you do that. So but yeah, overall I'm extremely happy with this ban list. I think that it was fantastic and fire. Finally, we just don't have to deal with Champa. You just don't have to deal with Kai. Like, Champa Mira is dead, thank heavens. The erratas to the lists, as far as I saw, were like all BT20 erratas with cards that I didn't have it read fully yet, so I don't really know what to comment on them. If they erratas to other cards, which I'm happy they're not, because like my friend Jay points out, erratas can be very confusing and hard for new players to grasp. The removal from Secret ID from the list is, like, massive for the record. I just, like, that card is so powerful, and I have no idea why they give it back to us at all. Like, there's a much more fair version of it in the form of the crit SS4, because it requires you tap energy for the overrealm. But it's also, like, a 30k crit, so... but it just didn't hit as much, right? So, like, a total combination up to 6 is a lot. And I think that, like weenie decks now are going to have quite a lot of problems. Like, the fact that, like, you know, if you're playing the like, superhero Gohan deck, like, that can only charge up to 3 energy, most of your like deck gets wiped out by that card. Like two cards just gone. Like, they're gone, man. And you know, Secret ID just can put on a lot of pressure as a free overrealm, like a lot. And I mean, you think that's bad? Like, Kai can play two in 1 turn. Like, total cost up to 12, gone from your board. Like, that can be a lot of cards. I mean, Dormant Potential and Shocking Death Ball are good at killing 2 or less. Like, you know, Secret ID. I mean, Secret ID could remove 3 Rush Attack Vegetas. Like, that's just how powerful the card is, man. Like, so we'll see. I hope it shakes up the meta. Thank God Boo's at 1. I literally have said this over and 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 over again. There are decks in this meta that would not exist if Boo was not around. Beerus, I think, is one of them. Which is why I think that, like, they, like, took that, like, card and limited it to 1. So decks can't just stabilize behind that 1 card. And if they do, you get rid of it. Like, if now, like, you play Boo Unison and you play against green, check yourself, because you're about to get wrecked hard. So, I'm excited. This new format is going to be awesome. Really can't wait to see what they do. And I'm really excited to get a case of the new set, see... what cards are in it, and play with them. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Sorry, like, I have an itch on the inside of my nose right now. It's, like, absolutely bugging me. That's why I keep touching my face. But, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Look forward to the deck profiles coming soon. I'm also going, like, out of the set, I'm looking to build 17, Cumber, Green GT. I know, I'm, like, just expanding myself, like, way too far out there. And Yellow Majin Buu. I look for all 4 of those decks. So look forward to them. I'll be bringing them to the channel, and I will see you guys next time. This is Marcus from TCG Discussion signing off. Laters.